South Africa staked a major international karting claim when Gavin Cronje and compatriot Leroy Poulter completely dominated the very first Rotax Max Grand Finals in Puerto Rico in the year 2000, with Cronje taking the crown. The 2001 Grand Finals took place in Langkawi, Malaysia, and Capetonian Claudio Piazzamussa repeated that feat when he took an opportunistic but well-deserved victory. South Africa, by now a dominant force in the world of Rotax Max racing, hosted the 2002 Grand Finals, and amazingly the former champion's brother Mark Cronje made it 3 in a row when he dominated proceedings to take the title in front of an ecstatic home crowd at the Bridgestone Swartkops International Karting Circuit in Pretoria. With high expectations on their shoulders, the South African contingent went to Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt for the 2003 Grand Finals. For the first time, the junior category was added to the event, and Dian Swart didn't disappoint his supporters by finishing third, with Omar Martin from Spain taking the first ever junior title. So it was up to Jonathan Pieterse, Cristiano Morgado and Bjorn Roos to try and emulate their countrymen in the challenge class. After a tight battle with Ricardo van der Ende and Adrian Estasi, Morgado made it 4 South African champions in a row. The 2004 Rotax Max Grand Finals took place on the island of Lanzarote earlier this year, but this time the South Africans battled in the Junior Max category. Benjamin Salvatore of France took a relatively easy victory from the UK's Adam Christodoulou and New Zealander Earl Bamber. However, South Africa's amazing winning streak continued as the RM1 class was introduced for the first time. Wesley Orr took a comfortable victory and won the country's 5th title in a row. To rub salt in the wounds of the opposition, former champion Cristiano Morgado finished 2nd to Tristan Oman of Great Britain. The South African contingent was understandably ecstatic again, and at that point they couldn't really care about the question on everybody's mind: how long can this continue? Rotax Max officials had decided to change the pattern and hold the 2005 Grand Finals just after season's end, and the event returned to Malaysia. The capital city, Kuala Lumpur, is an exotic mix of modern architecture and third world squalor, with one of the jewels in the country's crown, the Murak International Karting Circuit on the island of Langkawi. Although the island had been hit hard by the Boxing Day tsunami last year, hard work by local officials had ensured that the facility retained its splendor and rating as one of the best of its kind in the world. More than 140 karters from all over the world gathered to compete in 3 categories: Max Junior, Senior and RM1, with South Africa again well represented. Former world champion Claudio Piazzamussa regards his 2001 title as the highlight of his career, and he returned to the scene with fond memories, but this time in a different role.
Claudio, you were here in 2002 and won the championship. What's it like being here as a spectator or a mechanic now?
Very frustrating. I'd love to be in a kart. Every time I watch them, I just get more and more frustrated. It's nice to see the South Africans are going pretty well. And then you watch a lot of other guys struggling and you just want to get in the kart and show them how to do it. But I did come here to help all the South Africans, give them some advice. Obviously, I know the track quite intimately from racing here in 2002. So far, so good. We'll see now there's time trials. A couple of them are struggling, but it is quite a tricky track. It's 1.2 k's long, very twisty. So if you don't get your rhythm right and ride the curbs properly, you're going to battle. So we keep helping them, and hopefully by the time we get to the pre-final, final, they're on top of their game. The nice thing here is you've got the 3 heats which help you to, let's say, steal or learn from the opposition. When you follow them, you can see where they're faster than you. So I like that, and hopefully, like I say, Saturday will be a whole new day. As long as they've qualified for the final, then maybe we're in with a shot.
And if you were going to put money on a driver, who would you put your money on?
In the RM1 is definitely between Wesley Orr and Chris Morgado. I don't think they got much opposition there. In the challenge, it's a lot more difficult. There's guys like Tristan Oman, who's very fast. He was here in 2002. There's Martin Pierce, who finished here third when I won it, so he also knows the track very well. Very experienced. There's also Lansdorp. He's done very few laps in practice, so he's been saving his tyres. Very clever. He's obviously done the European, so he's comfortable. We'll see now in time trials. I think he'll be quick. Young, so we don't know if the experience is there. A guy like Tristan and Martin Pierce, I think, will run circles around them, but he has shown to have the talent. So those are the three for challenge. Rolf is struggling a little bit at the moment in the challenge, but hopefully we'll get him up there by the time we get to the pre-final and final. In the juniors, Arnold Nevling's got a weight problem. He's like 13 kilos overweight. So that is a big handicap for him. Hopefully it won't make a big difference in the race because he seems to be fast. He's on top of his game. Jonathan Bian seems to be pretty okay, but I think he's lacking that last sort of, let's say, 10%. But again, with the heats, and he hasn't got that experience as well, maybe he'll get there, by the time we get to Saturday. Rasiti is battling a little bit.
This part of the world can easily fall prey to the fury of Mother Nature, and disaster struck when monsoon rain came down on the penultimate day, flooding the circuit and surrounding areas. The official practice sessions and some of the qualifying heats had already taken place, but the delay while mopping up operations continued for virtually the entire Friday would have a major impact on the rest of the weekend's program. Some scheduled qualifying heats in each category had to be cancelled, which would make it even more difficult for drivers to get into the pre-finals. In the junior category, the South Africans were struggling.
Ricardo, this was your first international event, and also the rain made it difficult.
Yeah, the rain made the track very wet out there. They made the vision very poor, and that was very tough for some of the drivers. Some of the drivers couldn't cope in the rain, where I think I was quite fast in the rain. I started off in 14th, and I got taken out in the fourth corner. I then made my way back up to 12th from last. So yeah, I'm quite happy with my result.
Setting the pace, however, British driver Ben Cooper.
Ben, you must be feeling quite confident about this race meeting?
Yeah, we are. After we've been racing against everyone in the European Series, and this is most of the people that have been racing the European Series. Unfortunately, we missed the first round of the Euros, and we managed to win the next two, and then unfortunately we had a mechanical failure, so I lost the championship on that. But I'm happy with this, how we're going, so it's good.
And this circuit, do you find it tricky, or are you enjoying it?
It's very physical, and because of the heat, you're sweating a lot. It makes your arms ache, but it's a good track. It's very tight, twisty, but it also has its fast points.
All set then for the start of the pre-final in the Rotax Max Junior category. Over 15 laps in pole position then, Ben Cooper from Great Britain. Next to him, Kenneth Hildebrand from Estonia. Calvin Wong from Malaysia, and David Sutton on the second row. Sutton from Great Britain under starters' orders, and a good getaway from at least those on the front row. And into the lead goes Kenneth Hildebrand. It's Hildebrand who takes the lead from second on the grid. Everybody clear through the first few corners, and it's Hildebrand. It seems like Cooper in second position. And David Sutton is in third position. The South African started way back on this grid. Jonathan Leon started 14th. Next to him was Arnold Nevling. And Ricardo Rasiti certainly struggling, starting 53rd on the grid. We'll keep an eye out for the progress of the South Africans in this race. But at the front, it's a battle between Estonia and Great Britain. And look at the gap that Hildebrand has been able to open already. And it is Cooper in second position. Big change by Sutton. Brunwell, that's James Brunwell from Malaysia, the local man, into fourth position from sixth on the grid. And watch out for Daniel Schnellnegger. He's from Austria. He has started way down the order, and he's up into first position already. As our leaders starting to open up a gap there, top 3, 4, 5 now starting to in fact stretch out a little bit as they come around down the back straight. Number 24, Hildebrand from 15, Cooper, 48, Sutton. Brunwell, number 22 in fourth position, and Daniel Schnellnegger from Austria into fifth position. He's number 45. Watch him. He looks to be the danger man in this race. Oh, pretty close there. Any mistakes from those at the front can see a shake-up in the order, though it does seem that Hildebrand has got to be the favourite to win this race. Remember, this is the pre-final, and the order in which they finish in this race will determine the starting grid for the all-important final. These drivers all between the ages of 13 and 16. They use one chassis and one chassis only this year, the Swiss Cutlass Magic chassis. So everything absolutely equal. The Rotax engine developing 14-15 kilowatts of power, and it's all up to the driver. His setup skills, his driving skills. It's an equal playing field for everybody involved here. That's the magic. That's the idea of the Rotax Max series. Down the straight, back straight once again, and it's turning into a back-and-forth lead between these two drivers, Hildebrand and Cooper. Starting to pull away from the rest of the field now, but again, watch out for number 45, Daniel Schnellnegger from Austria on the inside. There it is. There's a move up the order. Schnellnegger now into fourth position. So Hildebrand, Cooper, Sutton, and Schnellnegger. They are fighting it out for the lead pretty soon, I'm sure. Schnellnegger will be right there on the party. Hildebrand still leading from Cooper, Sutton, Schnellnegger, and Grunwald from Thailand up into fifth position. So it seems that the battle for the victory in this pre-final in the Rotax Max Junior category here at the Rotax International Karting Circuit on the beautiful resort island of Langkawi in Malaysia, and they've certainly done a great job to recover from last year's disaster. But let's focus on the track action at the moment. A fine battle for a second between Cooper and Sutton, and all of this has allowed Hildebrand to pull away, so Hildebrand should be the favourite at this stage of the race to win it. And Cooper now pulling away from Sutton as well. Schnellnegger, however, all the danger man, starting to close the gap to Sutton. Grunwald still in good position, and the South Africans still struggling further back into the field. Hildebrand in 16th position at the moment. Ricardo Recipe has made up some ground. Oh, there's a problem. That's Greif from Germany. On the final lap now, Hildebrand is going to win this one unless he makes a mistake or has a mechanical disaster. Cooper in second position, and that man Schnellnegger into third place. So these three are going to start in the first three positions in the all-important final later on, and certainly they have deserved their position, driving absolutely faultlessly as far as we could pick it up from here. And Hildebrand has staked his claim. He is got to be the favourite to win the title come the end of the final. Checkered flag out there for Hildebrand, taken from Cooper by a second, and Schnellnegger further 8 seconds back. So flying the flag for Estonia, Kenneth Hildebrand, Great Britain, Ben Cooper, and the Austrian Daniel Schnellnegger. South Africa's Arnold Neveling, the best of them, in 16th position. Starting from pole position in the pre-final for the Rotax Max Senior category, Dutchman Luc Glamsdorp.
Luke, you starting from first. Would you rather be on the inside or the outside of the track?
Of course on the inside, because the inside is always it's a rule in karting. If you're on the inside, you're the first in the corner. So of course I prefer the inside.
And some drivers seem to have been getting a good advantage from starting second and being on the inside for the next corner.
Yeah, because they don't really watch the start, because some people make false starts and they just let it go. So it's a bit tricky here, but we'll see. So.
Glamsdorp in pole position, local Iceland Aaron Lim from Malaysia in second place. Both of them get a good start. Watch out also for British driver Barton Pearson, the Chinese driver from Hong Kong, Ross Jamison, in fourth position as they go through the first set of corners. No problem so far, and it is Glamsdorp who has the lead. Lim in second position, a good start there for the local man. David Serra from Australia, he's the Australian champion, started in fifth place, he's up into third now, and Ross Jamison in fourth place. He runs under the Chinese flag. Some more challenges there in the back. In fact, it's Jamison on Serra, but he doesn't make it stick. As the field comes down the main grandstand straight, and the gap already opening there for Glamsdorp. He came into this race as one of the favourites. He's taken advantage of his pole position, and now he's starting to stretch his lead. But watch out for the local hero who knows this Morak track like the back of his hand, Aaron Lim, and he's going to certainly be in there to find challenge for the win. Once again, one must keep in mind that the result of this race will determine the starting order for the all-important final, and that those drivers who keep that in mind are not going to take any unnecessary chances. Here they come down the main start-finish straight. It's 1-1-2 Klansdorp, 1-6 Lim, 1-4-3 Sarah, Ross Jamison 1-1-8 in fourth position. Watch out also for Indonesian driver Ramadhanendro. He's in fifth position in number 107. So he's starting to make his move as well. He qualified outside the top six. He's into fifth position already. And he's certainly looking like one of the dangers. But this is the battle for second position as Klansdorp starts to stretch his lead. It's Sarah on Lim. Now Lim, as we say, knows the circuit very, very well. And he will know exactly how to defend that second position. They need to keep in mind that they can't get involved in any kind of funny business because that will certainly compromise their starting positions for the final. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers now battling it out for the lead, and they are starting to stretch away from the rest of the field. Those five, it's Klansdorp, Lim, Seras, all the order remains the same. Jamison in fourth, Danindra in fifth position. Now some of the drivers have been struggling a little bit earlier today because of the fact that the rain really took away all the rubber. The track was pretty green, but at the moment it doesn't seem like they are struggling too much for any grip. It's going to depend on how they come to grips, so to speak, with the conditions here at the Rotax circuit. It's still very cloudy out there. It's relatively cool, in fact, at this time of the year, but it's very humid. It's very difficult conditions here as they are driving. You see the conditions in the back there against the mountain. Back to the action at the front of the field. Now a three-way battle between Klansdorp, Lim and Sarah. While the South African Ralph Oendal has made some positions, he's up into 14th position. The Max Senior class for drivers of 15 years and older, they all use the same CRG Road Rebel chassis. The Rotax engine in this category develops around about 21 kilowatts, and it's all on the same Bojo tires. Klansdorp and Lim fighting it out for the lead. So it's developed into a two-way struggle. Get into the lead and get the pole position for the final. It's Klansdorp and local hero Lim. Sarah still in third position. Danindro has moved up into fourth place in the danger man again. Like on previous occasions, Tristan Oman of Great Britain has moved up from outside the top six into fifth position. And he's starting to make his presence felt here, closing the gap to the front runners. He's somewhere in the background there. So it is number 112, Klansdorp, 126, Lim, Sarah, 143 in third place, 107, Danindro in fourth place, and 132. That's somebody to watch out for, Tristan Oman from Great Britain. Very, very competitive category, the Max Senior class. 51 drivers from 44 countries entered for this, and of course only 34 will make it through to the final. The top 34 will make it through to the final, and that is going to be a battle royale, believe me. The best Rotax Max drivers in the world in action. Luke Klansdorp currently leading this race. He's been trying for this title on a couple of occasions. Last year was one of the favorites, coming in as the European champion, but then of course he had some problems at Lanzarote and just couldn't make it. Tristan Oman, the current European champion, as we say, the danger man in this race. And he will probably be glad that there are no South Africans here, because this is his third opportunity, Tristan Oman, and every time in the past there was a South African ahead of him on the podium. He's certainly hoping that he will be able to bring home the bacon in this category this season. But all eyes on Luke Klansdorp. He's not put a wheel wrong so far, flying the flag for the Netherlands and taking advantage of the battles behind him. But Lim is still there. Aaron Lim from Malaysia, the local hero, is still trying to put up the charge and trying to close that gap. Maybe he's just waited a little bit longer to look after his tyres, and he's now certainly started to get closer and closer to the race leader. Are we in for a surprise? As they come around the main straight once again, and Klansdorp looking over his shoulder, 30 laps still to go, so there's plenty of time for Mr. Lim to close the gap to the race leader. Well, that body language says it all, and that can often be a giveaway. If the driver is concerned about maybe his car's handling or the tyres, the grip levels or whatever, that's Shafiq Ali of Malaysia, local driver. And the end of his race, what a disaster for him. And he will start at the back of the grid in the finals. Another disaster, this time for Alexandre Mata of Portugal. On the final lap now, Klansdorp is going to take this one. He will get pole position for the final. Lim still in second position, but he hasn't been able to do anything about the dominant performance of Klansdorp. Serra in third position. Danindro will finish in fourth ahead of Tristan Oman of Great Britain. So he will start in fifth position. Well done then to Luke Klansdorp of Holland. He takes it from Lim, Serra, Danindra and Oman. South African Ralph Windal finishing in 14th position. Reigning champion Wesley Orr has pole position for the Rotax RM1 pre-final.
Wesley, you've got the pace and you've got a win behind you, but you've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, as all racing drivers know, bad days and good days. Yesterday was a terrible day for me because a few pipes jumped off. But today it looks like I'm back on form, so hopefully in the pre-final, if I can have the pace I've had now in the season, I'll be able to come back and hopefully be there for the final.
Leading the field for the start of the pre-final, South African Cristiano Morgado, former challenge champion, and he finished second in the RM1 category earlier this year for the 2004 Grand Final. Wesley Orr starts in third position. So all eyes will be on the performance of the South Africans, and it is Morgado who gets a good start, takes the lead, but watch out for Wesley Orr. Started in fifth position and is up into third already, and now he's challenging. It looks like Beckenen. Is it Beckenen? Yes. And he goes into second position. Wesley Orr immediately pounces early on in this race. He started in fifth because he had a bad result in one of the earlier heats, and he certainly made his intentions known. So it is the two South Africans. It's Morgado and Wesley Orr in second position. Then comes the Finnish driver, Esa Pekkanen, who is under threat from Ben George, who goes through. Ben George from Austria moves into third position. So he's also on a run here. It is South Africa 1-2. It is Austria in third position, Ben George. Pekkanen from Finland in fourth position. Then Arya Setiaki. Arya Setiaki from Indonesia in third position, but all eyes on the black at the front. And a change there as Wesley Orr goes into the lead. The reigning RM1 champion goes into the lead. He wants pole position for the final. So it is all Morgado. George in third position as Morgado wants to fight back. Now these two South Africans should not get involved in any kind of funny business. Look at this. And in second place goes Ben George now. Ben George into second place, taking advantage of the two South Africans, and Morgado comes back. Morgado into second position now. And this has allowed Wesley Orr to pull away. He will be very happy with what's going on behind him. We see some other positional changes, or at least attempts at positional changes further back. But this is the fight in the race as Wesley Orr pulls away from Cristiano Morgado, who has to keep a good eye on Ben George. Setiaki has moved up into fourth position already. So he's gone past Pekkanen. Then Carsten Müller of Germany has moved up into sixth place. Well, Wesley Orr is showing his class here. He contested the European Series, but had a bad experience, a bad event in the final. So he's here as the reigning champion in the RM1 category, which incidentally will change its nomenclature next season and will then be known as the DD2 category. DD standing for direct drive. This is an all RM1 chassis engine package. Engine providing 25 kilowatts of grunt for these drivers. And they're all using the RM1 chassis, as well as the Mojo tires, of course, that was also used in the other categories. Wesley Orr, here at the reigning RM1 champion and showing his class, pulling away. He's got to be not only the defending champion, but also the favourite to take the title for the second year in a row. As the top three now start to pull away, the order still remains the same. It's still all from Morgado and George. Then Setiaki, Pekkanen and Müller fighting it out for fourth position. But nobody's got an answer for the flying South African Wesley Orr. Still very young, and he has an eye on international single seat racing. He's certainly going on his performances both in South Africa and Europe, and on an international level in the past few years. This young man has got a bright future in international motor racing. No doubt about that. Justin Melton from the USA out of this race. Some damage to his car. On the final lap now, Wesley Orr well on his way to the victory for the pole position. There's the checkered flag. And he gets pole position for the final. Puts him in the absolutely ideal position to take a second championship in a row. Cristiano Morgado finishes in second place, just ahead of Ben George, with Setiaki in fourth, ahead of Carsten Müller. Michael van Rooyen, the third South African, in sixth position. So the South Africans certainly very strong in the RM1 category. An expectant crowd in the stands waiting for the finals in the three categories. Can South Africa do it again? We'll bring you all the action from the junior, the senior and the RM1 finals after the break. pre-finals behind them and everybody knowing what they have to do in the finals ahead. The competitors introduced to the crowd, the patron of the event, former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Tension was palpable. Most pressure arguably on the South African contingent as they were determined to once again fly their flag on the podium. Their competitors obviously equally as determined. Final in the Rotax Max Junior 2005. Kenneth Hillebrand from Estonia on pole position from Ben Cooper of Great Britain, Daniel Schnellnegger of Austria, then James Grunwell of Thailand, Kazuki Hiramine of Japan, and Kelvin Wong of Malaysia. Top six, in 16th position as we get underway. This is going to be a long and hard-fought race. This, of course, is for the title. And no holds will be barred. Some action already at the back of the field. And there's a huge lineup. This is a big traffic jam. Let's see. And one of the South Africans, Jonathan Diop, number 54 involved there. So this is an absolute disaster for him. Some of the others, Mackenzie Johnson, number 29. Also number 47, that's Marlon Stockinger of the Philippines. Number 38, Lucas Jasinski of Slovenia. Getting stuck back at the front. It is for the run. He's got the lead. Second position is Cooper, Schnellnegger in third place. That's the way they started. There's number 34. So he has this man out of trouble. And like you say, a no hold barred race. There's no tactics involved there anymore. This is all or bust. Coming down the main track. That's Hillebrand, Cooper, Schnellnegger, then Grunwell, Akira Ashmani of Indonesia. In third position, Hiramine from Japan. In second, Christopher Kwaklia of Canada in seventh position. Those are the ones that we're finding out for the 2005, and 10th fight is already at the beginning of the race. Nothing given or asked. Very, very close there. Hillebrand, Cooper, Schnellnegger, Grunwell. Can't even keep up with him, although it is the top three now starting to pull away there. And, will it be between any of these three? It's going to be a long race. Anything can still happen. Also determining performance to a large degree here will be how the drivers and they're looking after the tyres. They have one set of tyres for the pre-final and the final. So those that work their tyres hard in the pre-final may just pay the price here in the final. And those, such as Hillebrand, such a clean run in the pre-final, they still have some very good condition tyres on his part there. And he's certainly looking not to slide this car around too much. Hillebrand opening up the lead. Cooper still in second position, but Schnellnegger down into third, and Hiramine, the Japanese driver, in fourth position. This is the battle of the race. Cooper defending in the number 15 part from Schnellnegger in the number 45 part. And, these two are slowing each other down. That means Cooper, as we say, as they come to go past one of the back markers. Don't get confused, the third driver in this group is a back marker. All eyes on the back for the second position. Hillebrand still opening up that lead. It's playing into his hands at the moment. What Cooper and Schnellnegger need to do is to not fight with each other, but stay on the ideal racing line and get themselves up there to the front. Also, watch out for the Japanese driver. This is going to play in his hands too. Hiramine, he's going to be able to close that gap, and he's going to be able to do that pretty soon. And just behind him is Lucas Jasinski in the number 28 cart. He was involved in that first corner incident, and now he's placing himself with these two. Of course, he's already a lap or so down. So watch out for Hiramine, the Japanese driver. If these two keep on slowing each other down, there he is. Here he comes now. Just in the background there, Hiramine. And if these two keep on slowing each other down, they will allow Hillebrand to win this race, and they will allow Hiramine to close the gap. Japanese driver, certainly a handy racing driver, finished second in the Rock Cup finals in Italy just a couple of months ago, in fact. All this battle continues. 15 is Cooper, Jakob Schnellnegger has got him on the inside. Beautiful move there, just waited for his opportunity. So Schnellnegger goes into second position, and now Hiramine, in fact, is right there with him as well. We're getting towards the final stages of this race. And Hiramine is the man there is to close, to keep an eye on. May well turn out to be leeway fight for second position. Meanwhile, Hillebrand has opened up a huge gap. He's going to win this one. Provided, of course, that nothing goes wrong for him. We've seen that happening in the past, that drivers lose concentration or some kind of mechanical failure, and then these three can fight it out for the top three positions on the podium. The South Africans, meanwhile, are New Zealand down in 15th place. Jonathan Vian right there. He's recovered from that first lap incident down into the 16th place. Ricardo Rossetti, been struggling the entire weekend, is in 19th place. So not far to go now as they come around once again down the main straight. And Schnellnegger leading Cooper and Hiramene right there with them already. The number 25 card. Here's the challenge on the inside. Cooper going into second position. This has allowed Hiramene to join the party. And here comes Schnellnegger once again. A tit for tat battle. And Hiramene is certainly in with a chance there. Getting past giving a bit of a bump Cooper there. Showing him that he's there. Get along. I want to get past. We are running out of laps. It's getting to the final stages now. Still, it is Hildebrand leading from Schnellnegger. He is in the number 45 card. What is going to happen in this battle for second place? The first of the losers, as they say in racing. Battles but winning, but in the end, you still want to get on the podium if you can. Any one of these three can still finish in second position. This is the final lap, and Kenneth Hildebrand from Estonia is going to take the title. He hasn't made a mistake at all so far. He's taken advantage of the fight behind him and what has been going on in the fight behind him. Schnellnegger has remained in second position. Hiramene from Japan into third place. Cooper has dropped back to fourth. Then comes Kushlani from India and Kennedy from the United States. What an appropriate name there into sixth position, but that does not matter at all as we are ready to take the checkered flag, and the Junior Max champion for 2005 is Kenneth Hildebrand from Estonia. A faultless drive, absolutely deserved victory. Well clear of Schnellnegger of Austria, who can maybe just think about where the opportunities lay a little bit earlier this weekend. Suzuki Hiramene in third position, completing the podium ahead of Ben Cooper from the United Kingdom, then Akhil Kushlani, James Kennedy and Christopher Boisclair from Canada. But there's the man of the moment. While he goes onto the podium, Arnold Neveling from South Africa finishing in 15th position ahead of Jonathan Vian. Trophy that he's been racing for all year, getting the trophy and the flowers there from Dr. Mahathir Mohammed.
Kenneth, that was an awesome win.
Yeah, thank you.
How was the race?
It was great for me, yeah.
But you made it look easy.
Oh, it got easier because the other one started throwing, how is it, passing each other. And yeah, I got my gap thanks there.
The final for the Rotax Max Senior category over 25 laps. Luc Glansdorp of Holland from Aaron Lim of Malaysia as they get at the start of the moment. David Serra of Australia in third. Ramadan Indra of Indonesia, also one of the danger men here, starting in fourth position. Can everybody get through the first corner clean? There is Danindro, who's taken the lead from fourth position on the grid. Ramadan Indra of Indonesia taking the lead. And involved there in the clash, Bastian Rasper, he's in the 136 car from Germany, and Sergio Rodriguez from Spain in 139. Their race certainly over. It looks like a lot of damage there to both cars, and that must be a big disappointment for them and their supporters. Meanwhile, in the main straight, the top four breaking away. Danindro from Oman, Tristan Oman has moved into second position. Then Glansdorp, there is another retirement, Ross Jamison from China, out of this race as well. So Danindro leading from Oman. Glansdorp has dropped to third position from pole position, so he's got some work to do there. Once again is Mr. Rasper from Germany, and that is a clear sign that he's out of this race. Meanwhile, it is 107 Danindro leading from 132 Oman, and there's just been a challenge of Pierce going into third position, taking Glansdorp for third place. So Glansdorp drops down to fourth position. Well, Glansdorp has certainly not had a good start to this race. He won the pre-final with ease, and it's certainly been a very hard race for him at this early stage, at least. And here comes Glansdorp once again. I think I just saw him going back into third place. Just have to confirm that. It is Danindro Oman. Yes, there is Glansdorp into third place. Martin Pierce down into fourth place. So these two are fighting it out for the final podium position as it stands at the moment. But of course, it's still very early days in this race. It is, however, a fair assumption, I would reckon, that the first 4 or 5 will provide the winner, the champion for 2005, as the rest of the field battle it out behind them. These drivers must keep it in mind that they've got a long race ahead of them, 25 laps in total, so just be clever not to get involved in too many fights at the beginning of this race. Rama Danindra from Indonesia, still leading Tristan Oman from Great Britain. Luke Glansdorp from Holland in third position. And Glansdorp has set up his cart that the tyres only come in the second half of the race, so I reckon he's probably playing a tactical game at the moment, just sitting there and waiting and seeing how things develop. Martin Pearce still in fourth position. David Serra of Australia in fifth place. Then comes the New Zealander Joshua Hart, and Aaron Lim of Malaysia dropped back to seventh place, with South African Ralph Kundal in 16th position. Well, this fight continues, and Danindra, we don't know whether he set up his cart maybe to try and open up a gap at the beginning of the race and then hope that he can hold on to it as the race progresses, or the other way around. It's certainly a strategic decision taken in the pits before the start of the race by the various teams. Top four now starting to break well clear of David Serra of Australia. He's the reigning Australian champion, but at the moment he's got no answer to the pace of the four drivers ahead of him. Now Danindra, can he hold on to this lead? He's certainly not safe at all. There's no gap to play with between him and Tristan Oman. Oman has got Luke Glansdorp, I reckon the man who's got to be the favourite. He had such an easy race in the pre-final that his tyres must still be in a very, very good condition. Still a long way to go in this race. 19 laps or so still to go in this race, and the order has not changed. These drivers are playing a tactical game quite clearly. They're not attacking and they're not defending in the moment. Everybody is well aware of the situation as far as the tyres are concerned. There are the gaps. You can see that there's really nothing between the top four, and it's not that difficult because it's quite clear on the screen as well to go down the order. All eyes are ever on this fight at the front of the field. Danindra from Indonesia, Oman from Great Britain. He's a man who wants to win the title. He's been denied on so many occasions, and he's positioned himself well at the moment. He's not getting involved in any funny business with those behind him. Luke Glansdorp just behind him. Martin Pearce was still watching and waiting for things to develop and things to happen. About 18 laps, just a little bit more than 18 laps still to go in this race. So still very early days. Looking over his shoulder there is Rama Danindra of Indonesia. He cannot be too concerned now, or does he know something that we don't? Does he know something about maybe the cart setup or the condition of his tyres? Well, he's got a bit of a comfortable lead at the moment. But I suspect what's happening is that the three behind him are just sitting and playing the waiting game. Once again, watching and looking over his shoulder. That does tend to convey the message that he's a little bit concerned. Best lap for the race so far behind his game. He's a bit of a revelation, one has to say. He was fast right throughout this weekend, but here he is leading the final. If he can only remain in this position, then he can win this title for 2005. It was great for Indonesia to get the World Championship behind their name, starting also growing at the rapid rate in the Middle East and Far Eastern countries that are, it's not quite an attack, just somebody 1 through 5 Martin Pearce. They're just having a look just to see what's the chances ahead of him. Rama Danindra from Indonesia still leading this race. Tristan Oman still in second position, but Martin Pearce has moved up into third place ahead of Luke Glansdorp. Danindra using his local knowledge, and here comes Glansdorp on the inside, and Glansdorp moves into third position again. It's been a fierce battle between him and Martin Pearce. Pearce finished third right here in 2001 when South African Claudio Piastamusso took that championship. He would certainly like to give a strong performance once again. At the moment, however, he's dropping back. He's talking about the Indonesian drivers as we see some battles going on a little bit further back behind the top four. Indonesian drivers, of course, regarding this really as a home circuit, because Indonesia not too far away. In fact, something like 15 kilometers away over the sea from the Malrak circuit where we are racing on at the moment. Back to the action at the front, however, the top four graving still pulling away from David Serra in third position, the Australian, then Joshua Hart from New Zealand in 1:16. He is in sixth place, and Aaron Lim in seventh position. The fastest lap of the race set by Tristan Oman, currently in second position, and he's certainly going to try very hard. This is his third attempt at this title, but not if Luke Glansdorp can have anything to say about it, as Glansdorp goes into second position. 10 laps to go, and Glansdorp has now signaled his intention. Looking over his shoulder there, see if he's opened up the gap, and another change there as Pearce goes into third position. Pearce now dropping Oman down to fourth place. Maybe Oman has just tried too hard too early in this race and is now paying the price. He's dropped back to fourth position now as Danindra still leads, but for how long? Glansdorp pulling away from Pearson Oman behind him. Glansdorp certainly now the man to watch out for. And look at this fight further back. Number 116 is hard. Then Aaron Lim goes to sixth position. Then Tin Sritral of Thailand. Sarah down in eighth position. Ranat Kalas all involved in this battle behind the leaders, chopping and changing positions. Ranat Kalas from Estonia and Juan Sanso of Costa Rica in 10th position. But certainly the action at the front not quite as intense as the action behind them. 5 laps to go, and Rama Danindra has been caught by Luke Glansdorp. It's going to be a battle between these two for the senior title in 2005. Martin Pierce still in third position, and Tristan Oman is in fourth, but he's got no answer. He's dropping back. It's going to be another disappointment for Oman, but now Rama Danindra is under some serious pressure from Luke Glansdorp, and Glansdorp knows that he's got him. He has been able to look after his tyres. He used the setup of his kart so that he has the advantage in the latter part of the race, and now Danindra knows that he's under attack. He's taking the defensive line. He knows it's just a matter of time. Can he hold on? Not too many laps still to go, and this is going to be a grandstand finish. Glansdorp on the attack. He's all over him. He goes left, he goes right, and Danindra doesn't know where the next attack will come from. Once again, on the defensive, makes his kart as wide as he possibly can, and will he be able to hold on? That's the question. The spectators on the edge of their seats as they go down the main straight. Will we see an attack now? Here comes Glansdorp, late on the brakes, he's got him. Will he be able to make the stick? He was very late on the brakes. He's going to lose some momentum, but he's got the line for the right-hander, and now for the left-hander, looking over his shoulder. Where's the man? That's Glansdorp has made it stick. So Glansdorp from Holland, well, he's shown all the promise so far this weekend. He's got to the front and he's done it absolutely perfectly, but Danindra is fighting back. Danindra wants to do it for his country, for Indonesia, and all of this has allowed Martin Pierce also now to close up. Are we going to see a three-way battle for the lead over the last few laps? And Glansdorp just holding on there. He's not taking the defensive line. He seems to be quite convinced that he's got the speed, he's got the traction under braking, he's got the traction out of the corners as well, so that he can hold on to the ideal racing line. But it's a fine, fine balance, as Danindra is certainly in a position to fight back, and Martin Pierce is in a position to take advantage of any disaster striking the two ahead of him. But we are getting closer to the final stages of this race now. This is the final lap, and look, Glansdorp from Holland has opened up a gap. This is going to be his title. Last year he was very disappointed not winning the junior title. He came back this year for the seniors and he's got it. There's the checkered flag. Look, Glansdorp for Holland does it, and he gets the checkered flag ahead of Rama Danindra. A good drive, a solid drive from him. And Martin Pierce from Great Britain finishes in third position. But there is the man, that's the champion for 2005. Martin Pierce in third position, Tristan Oman very disappointed to finish fourth, Joshua Hart in fifth position ahead of Aaron Lim of Malaysia. So all smiles on the podium for the Dutchman. Luke Glansdorp has worked very hard for this, come back from disappointment. What a drive it was.
Luke, that was an awesome win, but you left it a bit late. Were you worried?
I was pretty worried, yeah, because of my kart, my setup. I knew it would be good after 10 laps, but if you're lying on the fourth place, your heart starts boom, boom, boom. Is it gonna be okay? So when I took the lead, I felt fantastic.
Two South Africans on the front row for the RM1 final.
Chris, you've got a difficult task. Wesley is going quickly. Have you got an answer for him?
Well, I'm just going to go out there, do my best, trying to get things going as fast as they should, but I've been battling a little bit with some aspects of the setup, but hopefully I'll have a good race.
Have you made big changes to the kart between races?
Yeah, I've been trying things. Wesley's been very, very quick on this track. It's a very different track. It's quite erratic. There's bumps, there's tight corners. I prefer like the fastest flowing track, but you have to drive what the track is on the day, and Wesley's really taking to this track really well.
He has indeed, as Wesley Orr on the front row. In fact, the pole position next to him, his fellow South African Cristiano Morgado, as they get the starting order. And the South African goes into the lead. Wesley Orr takes the lead there from pole position. He's got, it's George. It's Ben George in second position. Cristiano Morgado has dropped back to third place. Two cars involved there. It's Karsten Müller and Eris Mahput. Müller from Germany didn't quite pick up what happened there, but certainly their race effectively over as we go back to the battle at the front. And it is Wesley Orr from Ben George, Morgado, and the other South African, Michael van Rooyen, is up into 4th place as they go down the straight once again. And Wesley Orr has now staked his position quite clearly. He had pole position, got a great start. He is a good starter. And he has got Ben George from Austria on his tail, but for how long? That's the question. Cristiano Morgado in 3rd as the rest of the field shuffle the order further back. It's the first 4 pulling away. And here's another look at that first corner incident with Karsten Müller and Eris Mahput. Wesley Orr leading the field from Ben George. Cristiano Morgado involved in a huge fight with his fellow South African Michael van Rooyen in 3rd and 4th respectively. Then Alexandre Engels of Belgium in 5th place, and the Canadian Marco Di Leo in 6th position. But Wesley Orr is pulling well clear of the rest of the field. He's certainly the class of the field has been, except for that one bad result in one of the earlier heats. And Wesley Orr, as the reigning champion, certainly the favourite to take this title. If he does so, he will become the first man in the history of the Rotax Max Challenge to successfully defend his world title. But it's early days. Anything can still happen. The moment he seems to have it all under control. George all under control in 2nd position, but has Morgado got it all under control in 3rd place. He's got Michael van Rooyen right there with him at the moment. And watch out also for the Belgian driver Engels and the Canadian driver De Leo. Down the main straight once again. They're starting to stretch out now. No real battles going on. Not quite halfway yet, about 17 or 16 and a half laps still to go. Wesley Orr has broken well clear of the rest of the field and starting to disappear into the distance. However, Ben George and Cristiano Morgado are fighting hand and nail, tooth and nail, for that 2nd position. It's still George in 2nd place, but Morgado is looking more and more threatening. Michael van Rooyen is still in 4th position, so the 3 South Africans inside the top 4. Can they make it top 3? RM1 category, the premier category in the Rotax Max Racing Series. And next year, here's the challenge. It is Morgado on the inside, barging his way through past Ben George, going into 2nd position. Can he make it stick this time as Ben George comes back? George looking on the outside there. Morgado says, come, let's go. Let's try and catch the leader. Let's not fight. This has been the trend right throughout, almost in just about every category, but George is certainly not looking too keen to follow that strategy. Wesley Orr breaking away and still pulling away from this as they continue to fight with one another. At the moment, it's about 4 seconds between Orr and this battle between Morgado and George. And it's playing right in the hands of Wesley Orr. That is Leo Maar, one of the local drivers from Malaysia, unfortunately out of the race. Wesley Orr, he's got the entire main straight, in fact more than the main straight lead over. Morgado still in 2nd position. George is still in 3rd, but Michael van Rooyen is right there in 4th place, and Alexandre Engels of Belgium in 5th position. It's now become a battle for 2nd between these 4 drivers, and this is going to allow Wesley Orr to even further extend his lead. He's well on his way to his 2nd consecutive RM1 title, but let's concentrate on this battle with 10 laps still to go. Cristiano Morgado would obviously clearly like to make it South African 1-2, and if Michael van Rooyen now in 4th position can only find a way past Ben George, it can be a South African 1-2-3. But can he do it? George is not going to make that easy on him, and he's certainly not going to give him any gifts at all. Everybody wants to finish as high up as they possibly can. If you can't win it, you want to get up as high as possible, even if it's outside the podium. Well, what is clear at the moment is that Wesley Orr, barring any mechanical failures or any mistakes, which is unlikely, is going to take this title. The RM1 category next year to become DD2. DD, as we said earlier on, from direct drive. That's the technology used in this category. There's no chain involved. It's a direct drive system with a 2-speed transmission, which is operated with the pedal shift on the steering wheel, and of course it also has a reverse gear, which disengages the clutch. Done with all the technicalities, back to the racing action, and Morgado is fighting very, very hard. We've got 9 laps to go in this race, less than 9 laps to go in fact, as we see the battle continues for 2nd position. How long can Morgado carry on? 2 laps to go in this race, and Wesley Orr well on his way as a change there as Alexander Engels goes into 4th position past Michael van Rooyen, who wants to fight back. Goes down to 5th place, the South African. As we say, only 2 laps to go. The race order is still Wesley Orr, Cristiano Morgado in 2nd position. Now Ben George in 3rd, still in fact in 3rd, then Alexander Engels in 4th. But not for long. Here it comes on the inside, and Engels goes into 3rd position. Michael van Rooyen around the outside of George into 4th place. So George has just lost 2 positions in 2 corners. Race order as it stands at the moment, it's Wesley Orr, Cristiano Morgado now starting to pull away there as these 3 are fighting it out for the final podium position. You can see 12.5 seconds and more between Wesley Orr and Cristiano Morgado. What an absolutely dominating performance by the South African. And in 3rd place now, it is the Belgian Alexander Engels. But at the front, it is all eyes on Wesley Orr. He's onto his final lap now. He's going to make it 2 in a row for 2005. The checkered flag, 2 in a row for 2005, the 6th consecutive championship for South Africa. And they continue with their domination of this form of racing. So Wesley Orr, that's the signal. He's learnt it from Fernando Alonso. His 2nd title in a row, and he does it all in the same season. And once again, Cristiano Morgado on the 2nd step of the podium, just like these 2 did it in Lanzarote earlier this season. Alexander Engels, a good comeback drive there into 3rd ahead of Ben George and Michael van Rooyen. And this man is starting to get used to this situation, proudly waving the South African flag there on the podium and receiving his 2nd RM1 championship trophy. What a fantastic season for Wesley Orr.
Wesley, you made that look so easy.
I think I've been working hard all weekend. It's paid off, as you can see. I've been getting my setups right, and I think my car is 150,000% right. Whereas everybody was still battling with the understeer and oversteer. I corrected that two heats ago, so I knew for the final I was the most prepared, and it paid off.
I saw you looking behind you a couple of times. Were you wondering where everybody was?
Well, for the first couple of laps, I knew they were behind me, and then I just kept my head down and just kept concentrating. And then after lap 6, I just kind of disappeared into the distance, and I was thinking, geez, but they had a bit of a tangle, so that was the main thing. That's why they fell back. But I think if everybody was equalized, no fighting, I still would have pulled away, but not that far.
So Wesley Orr continues with the tradition set by Gavin Cronje, Claudio Piazzamusso, Mark Cronje and Cristiano Morgado before him. Solid drive from 8th on the grid to finish on the podium from Belgian Alexander Engels. How did he see his performance?
I don't know really. In fact, I took a quite good start because I came out 6th and I started 8th. And after I saw I closed the gap slowly. And after I passed them one by one, only I think maybe I could finish 2nd by passing Morgado, but Ben George passed me 2 laps before the end, so I had to fight again with him to take back the 3rd place, and so I lost too much time, and I had to finish 3rd, but it's already a good place.
So 6 in a row for South Africa. Can they reach the magic number 7 in 2006? Proudly brought to you by Engine and its associate sponsors.